who was a trained beauty therapist when she married my dad. And she, for most of her 20s, worked in the beauty industry. And then we went to live in Canada, and she had an adult acne breakout on her skin. And she never had bad skin. And she discovered this skincare regime in Canada. And when we moved back to England, she couldn't find it in Europe. So she started importing it into Europe. So from being probably about 13, I started using the same skincare, which is a 5-step program. I'll show you the bottles in a minute. And I've used that pretty much as my absolute bedrock foundation, never missed out for probably the best part of 35, 36 years. And now my teenage daughter's using it. Kenny uses it, you know. My son's kind of hit and miss. He's 17 with his skincare. But so that's the kind of the basic kind of, you know, if you like, the base level. There's no kind of compromising on that one for me. In fact, I've been known to send Kenny kind of 70 miles if I've left skincare in a hotel or something, and he's gone, you know, one day when I say I've sent him, he's got, do you want me to go back and get it for you? because I'm that addicted.
Can I just say also, somebody just said on here, your mother is so glamorous. I saw her in Marks and Spencer's once. I mean, I love that your mum is also recognizable as well. So this is very interesting. So I mean, you and I first met, well, we first met when I interviewed you for a magazine I worked for. And then we met a couple of years ago chatting about the skincare, our skincare needs through perimenopause and menopause, because I know you're at the beginning of that journey and I'm at the end of that journey now. Do you think your mum's breakouts were hormonally driven?
No, she was only early 30s.
She would have been around that age, right?
But actually, I was similar more in my 20s. I had really good skin through my teens, didn't have any problems. And then it's this area here, you know, the hormonal kind of area. And that's where I tended to have problems and in my 20s. And that's what she had experienced in her early 30s. I never remember her skin being that bad as a child. But, you know, I remember her being upset with it because she'd always been really immaculate and very well groomed, and she'd looked after her skin really well. My mum is... the 5 steps of the program. My mum spends a long time as well kind of doing facial massage when she's doing her skincare. So I've always, you know, kind of, she's got really good, you know, muscle tone in her face. And so I have kind of copied her and tried to spend time doing it to myself. But it's hard, isn't it? Because in the morning, you're in a rush, and, you know, you've got to allow yourself that time to kind of luxuriate in it almost. So the second step is like a lathering cleanser. It's like the exfoliant. And I just spend a long time, you know, kind of making sure I'm kind of using that in a way that contours, you know, in the sense that I'm getting the muscles going and using it on my jawline. And so there.
I think you've got a really good jawline. Like, I think it's one of your beautiful signatures.
I know.
Bearing in mind you're on television a lot, so you're often seen in profile chatting to somebody. There's nothing like appearing on TV to see yourself in profile. Right, so let's start. Where do you start?
So this is Metrin, which is a 5-step, as I say, and this is the first product is the cleanser. So you'd put a little bit of this in your hand, across your face, and this is amazing at taking off, because on telly I have to wear so much makeup, and this is for me the best in terms of the complete removal of eye makeup. And you use a kind of warm you get a face cloth with a warm water, not boiling hot, and after you've massaged that kind of into your face and your décolletage, your neck, using that to take off the rest of the makeup, and it just has a very good, you know, removal. And so I guess out of the 5 steps, the first 2 are the cleansing, you know, so you're kind of double cleansing.
So where
online,
do you
can only buy them online. So it's Metrin has got its own website, Metrin. And the funny thing was, when it first came back from Canada, it was seen as being quite expensive in the market. And it's interesting now, skincare is so expensive when you, and it's actually not that bad, you know, it's really not compared to a lot of products in the marketplace. I mean, you get what you pay for, but there's quite a lot of product in the bottle, and obviously you don't use necessarily all 5 in the same quantity, so you can replace them individually. So so as a program, there are lots of other skincare programs, I think, that have got that kind of you know, maybe 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 different products that you would use together, and then the next one complements the one before. So the first moisturizer is the 3rd one you'd use. It sounds like it's a really long process, but I promise you, when you start using it, my teenager uses it. Do you know what I mean? It's really not at all.
I don't think 5 products in total for a skincare routine is that much. I really don't. So just to let everybody know, so they're now saying the brand name.
Yeah, it was connected. So the woman that started it was this incredible woman who she died probably about 25 years ago. My mum actually met her, and she had this amazing skin. And she was actually she was a chemist by trade. You know, she'd started off her life in industry, and she came up with the formulas, and she was the founder of the business. And it's never really changed very much. And so I think that's not fashionable in the skincare industry, because you've got to keep changing, got to keep putting, you know, more products out there, you know. And so Metrin's just always had this very traditional program. As I say, I can't, you know, I get sent lots of different things, and I do occasionally add a serum in, or I add an overnight cream, or I might think my neck needs a bit more attention, and I do get sent lots of lovely things, and I do buy occasionally products that, you know, I like as a complement to what I use. But the moisturizer, which is the basic moisturizer, is, for me, it's just one of the nicest moisturizers I'll ever feel on my skin, you know, because it doesn't feel kind of claggy afterwards, or like I'm waiting for it to soak in. It just feels hydrated kind of immediately. And so I might, as I say, Kenny uses, there is a men's range, but Kenny uses the women's range with my products, because you can shave with the lathering cleanser, which is the second product. So he likes to use that as well. So I'd say that's the kind of Metrin is the cornerstone, really, of not just mine but my whole family's skincare regime, which sounds a bit cultish, doesn't it? But it's really hard to get away from it once you start using it.
It really doesn't. I think if you use good skincare and it works.
Somebody just said she's got shares in Metrin. I know it sounds,
and you're right. Over the last,
but the fact that, you know,
or Metrin should make you the face, you and your mother, and
my mum is
Kenny
a property developer, so her main business is now, because she's always had a passion for property, so she moved into property in her kind of late 30s, 40s, and kind of kept Metrin ticking over as almost just to keep importing it for herself and us. But you know, but you can buy it, so it's out there to buy.
Quick question. What sort of price bracket is it?
This size, which is, I haven't got my glasses on, this is a 165 ml bottle. Yeah. And these ones range from kind of 25 to each one, up to 30 for each one. So for the whole lot, you know, it's not a massive, and these should last probably 3 months. 3 to 4 months if you're, you know, using the right size amount. So it's, and somebody just said, have you got dry or oily skin? I've got quite normal skin, but that's the thing, you will use different quantities. If your skin's feeling in wintertime a bit drier, the last product, the fifth product, is a deeper moisturizer, and you might find in wintertime you want to use a bit more of that. In summertime, I've just noticed my mum's just popped on here actually, so she could probably put a link to the website where you can get it from. That price, by the way, was pounds, not dollars. So yeah, it's a very very simple, very, you know, it doesn't have any aroma to it, you know, it's a very straightforward skincare regime. And yeah, I'm hoping that they forever kind of make it, because I don't know where I go. So
there are 2 cleansers.
No, there's a thing called the protective lotion, which is product 4. You put on between 3 and 5. I don't always use all 5 every day. I might use 3, the first 3. And so this is the kind of the basic 5 products, if you like. And the 4th product is, it's like a kind of it looks like a water. It's the only one that has a slight scent to it, and you kind of splash that on your face in between the 2. It's a multifunctional product. It's incredible for sunburn and irritations. We found that out by accident on holiday with the kids once. My mum had mentioned it, and then I put it on the kids, and it has a very healing quality to it. It's not astringent at all. And then the final one is the second moisturizer. Is this an ad? I promise this is not an ad.
No, this isn't an ad. Literally, Gabby does not have shares in this company.
Yeah.
I just asked her what she'd use on her skin. She's been using it since she was a teenager. Her mother
thanks to my mum and lots of other family members actually have, you know, since become a big fan of it. So, and we're going back now to 1980. What year did Princess Diana and Prince Charles get married? That's the year we went to live in Vancouver. 81. So we're going back a long way here, guys. And you've known me